Welcome to the World Cup Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the west coast of the U.S., Josh Lander, joined by my friend Dan across the pond. How are you today, Mr. Tracy?
Yeah, really good, thank you. As we keep saying, more World Cup action. It's just been fast-flowing, keeps coming, doesn't it? We've got more to discuss in this show, plenty more to discuss in the next couple of weeks. But it's been fantastic, a great week, some shocks, some upsets, some fantastic football across every game. So I'm absolutely fine. The longer the World Cup continues, the happier I am. So I hope you are as well, mate.
Yes, like a schoolboy, giddy like a schoolboy. This has been a fun World Cup, mate. I think we were all so just worried about how this was going to be on the pitch, but it's turning into a pretty solid tournament, at least from just a pure soccer and football standpoint, if you will. In this one, we're taking a look at the seventh day of matches in the group stage here of the World Cup. That will be taking place on Sunday, November the 27th for all of us. So let's go ahead and start with that. But I will say, make sure to like and subscribe to this page as well. Dan continues to bring all the heat on thelines.com as well. All of the good articles that you need talking about all of these matches and some of the future stuff, everything up there that you need from Dan on the World Cup. We're going to be coming at you each and every each and every day of this World Cup. We're not going to miss a single day of matches for you all the way through the group stage and into the round of 16 to start. So let's go ahead and talk about these matches on Sunday. We're going to work backwards as the best day of the game. Potentially the tournament, we'll see, is going to be the last game on Sunday. Spain versus Germany. You can get Spain plus 135 to win outright here on the three-way market, as Germany is plus 190. The draw is plus 265. I don't know if I see that happening. I don't know. Spain 7-0 against Costa Rica. Germany loses in some dramatic, unfortunate fashion for them. What do we make of this group right now? Or I guess, what do we make of this game and the way that this group is shaping out?
Okay, so when we looked at this group, we kind of considered Spain versus Germany to be the fixture which would define who finishes top. Now it's a fixture where Germany are pretty much in the last chance saloon. Let's assume, and we'll get to the Japan game towards the back of the show, if they do their business again over Costa Rica, 6 points, that puts Germany really behind it. If they lose to Spain, they're gone, they're out for the second group stage in a row. So they're going to have to play better than they did in game one, which means they're going to have to be more attacking, which then at the same time allows Spain to do more of their own damage. Obviously, they've got 7 against Costa Rica. They're not going to hit Germany for 7, but they're going to have their tails up, and Germany are going to be licking their wounds. So when you sort of mention the full-time market at Spain, what 130 or so, I'd be taking that, to be honest, because I feel that when you look at Germany, they've got to find a performance, but I just don't see them doing enough. The draw maybe, but I just don't see a Germany win. So for starters, I'll be going for Spain at plus 130. And because Germany are going to have to need to do more in terms of attack, there's probably going to be both teams to score, whether that's, I don't know, a 2-1 win for Spain. But I like the look of both teams scoring and Spain winning at plus 300. Also, you can get Spain to be up at half-time and then winning the game at plus 275. So I'd be going for Spain, even at that starting point of just backing Spain to win. That's good value. And then if you kind of add some extra elements onto it, there's a lot of profit to be found. So I think it's going to be very bad news for Germany, the worst news, as they go home early.
Wow. So you're confidently going in on Spain in this one, not necessarily worried about, anything from Germany necessarily. You think that this is a German team who's down and out right now, and Spain to win this game outright is the play. Yeah,
I feel that there's fears of how Spain were going to start. A lot of people sort of said, well, where's the goals going to come from? They kind of showed it. They've got it in spades. And again, you can't use Costa Rica as the best barometer of how good this Spanish attack are, but at the same time, you can only beat what's in front of you, like what England did against Iran a few days ago. So the fact that they've kind of hit the ground running in perfect fashion, it just fills you with a bit more confidence. If they just beat Costa Rica 2-0, regardless of what Germany did, you'd think, actually, maybe this game is closer in the balance. But because Spain was so emphatic, you kind of then wonder, well, actually, how can they play so badly second time around? So I feel that with that boost of confidence, coupled with Germany's defeat, I'm just putting it all in on Spain.
Yeah. Well, then let me ask you one more question about this game, and that's around the total and the goals that we think will be scored in this game. My initial sort of thought here is more goals. There's going to be goals, and that's in part because that Germany, I don't even think they really want to tie this game. I
No.
don't think the Germans see a tie as enough to really get that. Otherwise, that they're in a position where they've got to beat the absolute crap out of Costa Rica and hope that Spain puts a hurting on Japan in that final game as well. And that's not a position they want to be in with a tie. They'd like to control their destiny a lot more. That to me means the game opens up a lot. And even if you see, I think, even if we see a situation where Germany's winning, which is not necessarily likely, but let's say they're winning with 20-ish minutes left in the match in regular time, I still see that game being pretty wide open, and the Germans may be calling back the demons that came for them against the Japanese, where they were winning that game and somewhat, not, I don't want to say handily, but they were in control of that match for sure. And then the 2 goals at the end, that's going to be in the back of their mind. So that all leads me to think goals can come at any point in this game, and that you're not getting any value until you get to over 3.5. Is where you finally get plus odds if you're taking a total an over in this one. You can get under, if you think there'll be less than 3 goals scored in this game, you should still get plus odds on that. So, but am I probably onto something? I think the market agrees with me, obviously, that there's going to be goals in this game.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The biting point doesn't get interesting until over 3.5. So you've got over 2.5 at minus 140. It's not really worth the stress. I feel if you're going to go for a totals bet, always try and go for a plus. You kind of feel that there's so much that needs to be done in a match of football anyway. Why not make it more interesting by at least kind of getting a better return on your money? So with the logic you make, I think that's absolutely fine in terms of if Japan do win, Germany cannot afford a draw. They have to go for the jugular. They have to win. So when you couple that with Spain's attack, I think it should lead to goals either way. So I feel that over 3.5 at plus 175 is a great starting point.
With it, yep, totally with it, and it's going to be a very fun game, the best one of the day. I'll also say we're recording this while the Netherlands are playing Ecuador, and Ecuador just tied things up. This tournament is insane. Let's move on to the next game, though, for Sunday, Dan, as we move along here. As I said, the 7th day of matches in the World Cup. The next game on the slate here, moving backwards, as we said, Croatia and Canada, a game that my Belgians will be watching pretty closely, I believe. Croatia plus 115 on the money line there, the three-way market. Canada plus 265, a draw plus 235. The Canadians looked pretty good against the Belgians, who I would also say looked really bad. And I think the Croatians are probably a little bit disappointed to have come away with a draw versus Morocco, who might surprise a few people in how well they're able to play in this group stage. But what do you make of this match? Should the Croatians come through? Is it a situation where the favorites are still plus money, and maybe we feel good enough about that?
Do you know what? I don't have the same confidence that I have in Croatia than I did in Spain when we're looking at plus odds. Sometimes you feel that it's so strong, it actually is a good bet to start with, like being Spain as an example. Croatia, I just don't see it. They were lacklustre against Morocco. Their defence was good and robust, but on another day, Morocco could have nicked that game. So I don't feel I'm in a race to back Croatia in terms of winning against Canada. With that in mind, I'm actually more tempted by the draw at plus 240. I feel that's where the value is, because Canada was so quick out the blocks against Belgium. All they were missing was a goal. I know Belgium was certainly under par for their own standards, but Canada played with this kind of refreshing naivety. They just gate crashed the World Cup stage, and for the first 20 minutes, they were fantastic. And were it not for that missed penalty, it would have been a different story. So, as we sort of said, I don't know if it was off camera or on camera, but Jonathan David should have taken that penalty, and because he didn't score, I've got a feeling he might score against Croatia. So another bet I'm going to go for is him to score any time at plus 250. I just feel that Canada need a goal. Alphonso Davies, obviously, is always handy, but I feel that they're going to probably need something more focal in attack and actual centre forward. So if they build their attack fully around David, I feel he might get some joy. Now, I don't even know if it's going to be enough joy to get the win. That's why I've gone for the draw at 240. But I feel that as an anytime goal scorer bet, Jonathan David, rather than the few Croatian options, there's not really sort of much I'd pick there. So I'm going for more of a Canada tilt. If you want to be really brave, you go plus 260. But I feel the draw at plus 240 is the perfect bet for me.
I like it. The only thing that would scare me is the Canadian defense. I don't think it got tested against the Belgians very often. God, that was disappointing. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But they didn't put it on the Canadians. And that's in part because the Canadians are pressing up top with their 3-4-3. They're really making sure that you can't do damage against them in their part of the field. So my point is they didn't get tested on defense. If Croatia can control the ball, which will be their game plan, is control the midfield. That's where the strength of their team is. Then that does lend itself to where will the Croatians be possessing the ball? Are they possessing the ball in the mid third, their third, or is it in the attacking third? And if it's in the attacking third, now I need to see a little bit more from the Canadian defense to feel like they can at least withhold too much from the Croatians. That said, a 1-1 draw seems likely, especially with your logic. If Jonathan Davies can sort of be on the correct end of one of those balls from Alphonso Davies and a lot of those great crosses that have been coming in for the Canadians, especially against the Belgians, then there is opportunity for them to at least get one goal. But I do see 2 goals being scored in this match. I don't see it as like the same type of 0-0 draw, just because of the way the Canadians press, and sort of play that almost attacking defense in your third. Their forwards are pressing all the way up to the defenders. So we'll see how that game goes. There's going to be a bit of, I don't know that there'll be enough pace to get a ton of goals, which does also lead you to feel better about a draw. But at plus 235, I agree. I just feel better about neither of these teams winning than one of them really dominating. So let's move on to this third game that we have here, Dan, and the one that I don't know if I've been waiting to talk about or not waiting to talk about. It is the Belgians, as they, like I said, they tied the Canadians. The Canadians in the last game, and now take on the Moroccans super early on Sunday morning for us out here on the West Coast. So in this one, they are expected to win. They do come in as the favorite of the group. They're even money at this point, though, to in the three-way market there to win the game. Morocco plus 300, the draw plus 240. I think we all felt the Belgians were just lackluster in everything they did. If you want to be super specific about it, whenever the defenders have the ball, they're just playing it back. They're never playing forward to their wide midfielders. There was nothing in the center. I don't know that Morocco is going to play the same style. Maybe they take a page from Canada's book and say, let's press 2 to 3 forwards up, and then really keep the ball in their part of the field, so that the Belgians can't really get up into our part of the field where it's dangerous for them. But I don't know. I don't feel confident in the Belgians. What do you make of this one to start, knowing that they look so poor in the first match?
Well, on this side of the pond, you can get a Belgian win at minus 100, and I wouldn't touch that at all. Evens, if I was on the other side of the Atlantic, maybe, but then again, there wasn't enough for me to get excited about Belgium either, really. It's been a group where the bigger teams, Belgium and Croatia, haven't really done much to get me excited and put away a lot of money to the bookmakers. However, there's always a way to find a bit more value. So I'm going to still back Belgium to win, but this time I'm going to go with a Belgium win and under 2.5 goals in total, which is plus 300. And I feel that Morocco, they've got Ziyech, obviously Chelsea star, but apart from that, they haven't really got a lot in terms of attack. So when you couple that with Belgium's, again, kind of creaking golden generation, the lack of real firepower, which we saw earlier in the week, I just feel it's going to be a narrow, slender, not very exciting win for the Belgians. They can't play as bad as they did on, I can't remember the day now, because the World Cup's all meshed together. But the game against Canada, that one, you'd like to think there's an extra level there. There certainly is an extra level for them to find. So I feel they will be better, but I don't think they're going to blow Morocco away. So as I say, I think the plus 300 for a Belgian win and under 2.5 goals is a good starting point. But also Kevin De Bruyne is worth a look at, about plus 275 just to score a goal, because he had a bad game by his own standards against Canada. He's going to want to prove that he's the world elite still. How he got man of the match, I don't really know, because I think he said, well, just because I'm Kevin De Bruyne, it's probably the reason. But he's worthy of a world-class performance against the Moroccans. So I feel that if he pulls his finger out and does what he can do, him scoring as well is worth a shout. And as I say, I like that at plus 275.
He was man of the match?
Yeah, he was, official man of the match.
Oh my God. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen KDP play a worse game. I have never called for him to come off the pitch before, and I was begging for him to come off and Roberto Martinez to substitute for him. But at any rate, I would go ahead with the under and the goals as well. I hit the under in that Belgium game as soon as I saw the formation that they were playing, sans Lukaku, who will be out for this game as well. I don't know that they expect to have him in the group stage. If they win this match, I doubt that we'll see him in the group stage, as they they probably won't need a win versus Croatia. Depends on what happens. They don't obviously want to have to play the Netherlands if that's the case, but we'll see how things shape up. I like the under again is my main point in saying why I took that. The way that they're playing is hold the ball in the back and then just play the ball long and hope that one of your three forwards comes on to one of your long balls. And that was their strategy against Canada. We'll see if Morocco plays. Obviously they usually play with more 4 or 5 defenders as opposed to the Canadians playing with 3. So we'll see how that really impacts things. But I think either way, the recipe for success for the Belgians is control the crap out of the ball and actually have it in the mid part of the field as opposed to just on their back end. Keep their defenders high, and then just keep the ball. And at that point, you feel good about them maybe getting 2 goals and winning. But that's about it. So I fully agree with the under and their victory in this one. Let's finish things in the last game that we have today. Another pretty good game. I think it's another good day of matches, at least for those of us who bet Japan to come out of the group. That's why I say it's a good game. Minus 230 for Japan against Costa Rica, plus 700. The worst goal differential, obviously, for the Costa Ricans at 7-0 that they lost that first game. How do you bet this game, Dan, to try to make some money upon it?
I might keep this one simple. Just go with Japan. Just a little bankroll builder. You don't have to maximise every bet. I know it's helpful, but sometimes you just need to grind out a win in terms of a little bit of juice here and there. So I like just a simple Japan win on this one. If I was looking for goals, if we kind of split Costa Rica's 7 in half, let's go for over 3.5 in total, plus 240. That sounds about right. Maybe a correct score bet of, say, 3-0. That might get you plus 900 if you're lucky. So there's options there, but I feel sometimes, with the amount of football coming thick and fast, sometimes you need to take a step back and say, do you know what? If I can just boost my bankroll and feed it into the next game, then that's not a bad strategy either.
Yeah, but I'm going to take your logic and go Japan minus 1.5 though.
Okay.
I think them to win by 2 goals seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah, so the minus 230, like you said, I'm happy to play it safe, but I don't think it's dangerous to play them to win by 2 goals. We saw the sort of bloodlust that was created once Spain put a couple goals in. This is the World Cup, man. Everybody, there's no resting on your laurels once you have goals. We've seen the teams that can put the ball in the back of the net continue trying to do so until the very last whistle. And in certain cases, that was crucial. We'll see if Costa Rica can even put enough pressure to scare the Japanese. But I feel very, very good about them winning by 2 goals and at least getting plus money there. If you do want to get it all the way up to minus 2.5, that's where you get plus 350 on your money at that point. I might feel better about them winning by 3 than needing to predict that they win 3-0. It could be 4-1 just as easily, right, in this case. So we'll see. That I think we feel pretty confident that we're not going to see too big of a surprise in this one. So figure out a way to get Japan and enough juice on your bet there to make some money back. So that's all the time we have in this one, Dan. That is day 7 in the books for us anyway on Sunday here in the World Cup. We'll continue to come back to you guys each and every day, as we said. We'll also have the Monday slate of games up for you tomorrow, so make sure to come back, like, and subscribe. Keep checking out Dan's articles on thelines.com to stay on top of everything happening in this World Cup. And until we see you next, happy betting.